What a headshot! What a head!
How's it, guys? This is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now, in this video, I'm going to take you guys through my team selection for the upcoming double game week 36. So as we always do, going to be going over the game week 35, the single game week 35, and how that got on for my own squad, and see if it was a red or a green arrow. I'm then going to shift my attention to the game week 36 team, give you guys the team selection first, just to show you what I'm currently dealing with my starting 11 and my bench. Then we're going to talk about my transfer plan at the end of the video. So a quick disclaimer before the video does start, I have to go to a couple of work functions this week, and therefore I'm pre-recording this video on Monday, so I will be going over every possible scenario with bans and injuries and the Champions League and Europa/Conference League. But I just want to let you guys know that there might be something in this video that I miss, such as a Robertson benching or him starting and getting injured or something like that. So with all the disclaimers and the intro out of the way, let's get straight into the video. So sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So starting off with our single game week 35 team review, a relatively respectable game week to be honest, thanks to one man in our midfield that I will be talking about shortly, but we did manage to get a massive green arrow thanks to about 63 points. So that green arrow saw us go from about 7.5k to about the top 5k mark, currently sitting about that 4.6k mark, so really respectable green arrow there as I said, and from now to the end of the season hopefully we can improve on that and get another top 5k finish. Let me know in the comments down below how you guys got on. Did you also get a massive green? Did you go with the Son captain? Were you a little bit unlucky and went with the Salah captain? Let me know how you guys are keeping on this season and what those moves for the rest of the season are going to be. So as we always go with these reviews, going to start off with the bench. We've got Forster on 2 points, Breuer with 1, Rafinha with 2, and Shaw with 2. So in terms of the bench, nothing much to talk about there, except for maybe Breuer being benched yet again for Southampton. Don't you know what's happened there? I know that he was out of form, but might have actually lost his spot in that starting 11. Rafinha played Man City and Shaw played Liverpool, so I don't really mind those 2 pointers, and unfortunately Forster didn't get the save points with that game against Palace. But going on to our starting 11, we've got the defense. We're actually going to need a bench option because Trent was actually benched against Newcastle away. So that was kind of the big news of this game week, was that Salah and Trent both got a rest. Andy Robertson didn't get a rest though, and that was a little bit annoying because he did get the clean sheet points, but I guess that is how it is. But Breuer will be coming on for Trent, so that'll be 1 extra point taken to the tally, but in terms of the overall rank, won't really affect it too much. The rest of the defense though didn't really do too strong. We got Ramsdale with 2 points, yet again conceding a goal. I thought Arsenal would have maybe locked in the clean sheet against the rotated West Ham side, but Bowen ended up starting and that was the end of the story. So I don't really know what to do with Ramsdale and Arsenal at the moment because from a defensive point of view, not really bringing in the clean sheets like he was early on in the season. Luckily though, Cancelo managed to get us a clean sheet but also got a yellow card, so he only got 5 points in that game that Man City did have. Relatively comfortable game against Leeds, 4-0 victory. A little bit disappointed that Cancelo didn't get any attacking returns, but it just seems like he might not be attacking as we might have thought. 2 defenders that definitely are attacking but maybe didn't get the clean sheets are going to be James and Alonso. Apparently it was a little bit of a mistake by Azpilicueta that got Everton that goal, so quite disappointed with that as there was a double clean sheet wipeout. Now both of these 2 assets actually did start, so James, Alonso, Havertz, Mount was a full strength squad for Chelsea against Everton, but that wasn't enough to get me some points. James has been super disappointing since I brought him in. I brought him in for that 18 pointer, transferred him out, brought him back in a couple of game weeks ago, and I think he's only got me 2 and 1 pointers. Alonso also racked up a yellow card for a foul, so that was a little bit disappointing, as this game week really every point did count. But now that we kind of got the depressing defensive department out the way, let's go to our midfield department. We're going to start off with Saka, who managed to get an assist, but also a yellow card and the clean sheet point lost. So Saka also actually came off a little bit later into the game. It looked a little bit injured, but apparently it was just kind of cramp, maybe a little bit fatigue, as Arteta did confirm at the end of the game. So Saka should be fine for double game week 36, and I really do want him as he is in quite good form. We then have Mo Salah, as mentioned, with Trent was actually benched for that Newcastle game. I was not expecting that at all. I thought maybe one of the games in the upcoming game weeks he might be rotated for, but Mo Salah's fitness is so strong that I was a little bit surprised to see him on the bench. But if the benching wasn't hard enough, you captainers, he came off the bench and had multiple one-on-ones, multiple opportunities to score, and that just shows you even when Mo Salah is benched, he's still a constant threat when he's on the field. But now moving on to our double up that got us the points this week. It's going to be Kulusevski, who was actually benched for the start of the game but came off on the 55th minute and then got me 2 assists for Heung-min Son, and that took him to 8 points. So the 8 points were great, but not as much as the 38 points from Heung-min Son. Massive captaincy there from us. There was kind of a little bit of a dilemma before the game week started about Son or Salah, but Son was always going to be our captain going into that deadline, and I'm happy that I kept the armband on him. So 2 goals, 1 assist, and then 3 bonus points took the South Korean to massive 38 points, and as you guys can see from my total, that was the majority of them. It does put us in a little bit of a tough spot here with Son because he could be an upgrade to maybe a KDB or Sterling next game week, but out of the good form that he scored in 35, might just keep him for that double game week 36. Then moving on to our forward line, it was disappointment yet again with 2 1-pointers from Weghorst and Nketiah. Nketiah had multiple shots in that game, was quite surprised that he didn't end up scoring, but picked up a late yellow card for blocking a free kick. Weghorst though came off on the 59th minute. What better way to sum up Weghorst and Burnley overall than coming off on the 59th minute and therefore only racking in 1 point. It was also a little bit bad when he came off. Burnley scored 2 goals, and as a striker that's never a good sign that your team is scoring when you're not on the pitch. But overall, although I might be slightly disappointed with the Chelsea defenders, Nketiah not scoring, can't really complain with that Son captaincy that took us up to the 4.6k mark. But as I said, let me know in the comments down below how you guys got on. Now before we talk about the transfer plan, or at least shift our attention to that, let's talk about the Game Week 36 team currently. As I always say, I like to give you guys some background on what I'm dealing with before we talk about what transfers to make. So double Game Week 36 promises to be a massive game week. I think 100 points will be quite easy to score on this, as long as most of the heavy hitters end up returning, with 12 teams doubling. On the bench, you've managed to avoid all those double game week players, only single game week options. Forced against Brentford, Breuer with the same fixture, Weghorst against Aston Villa, and then Shaw vs Man City. In terms of Shaw vs Man City, Shaw currently injured, might not actually feature for Newcastle, but I wouldn't have played him anyway against Man City. Breuer and Forced against Brentford. Brentford have been actually playing quite well. Play tonight against Manchester United to see how that game goes, but I don't think I'll start either of these two in my starting 11. And I definitely won't be starting Weghorst after his 59th minute cameo against Watford on the weekend, so Aston Villa at home definitely will be on my bench. Moving on to my starting 11, the defense looks pretty strong if all players do play both games. Ramsdale against Leeds and Spurs, I don't actually think there's a clean sheet for either of them, and that's why I'm a little bit worried about Ramsdale, but maybe he can get us some save points. The rest of the defense though, perfectly fine with them. Trent had his rest on the weekend against Newcastle. Spurs at home, Villa away, should be able to get some attacking and some defensive returns. We've got Cancelo against Newcastle and Wolves, 2 clean sheets in my opinion there, but then unfortunately with James and Alonso, I do think both of them will play against Wolves and then be benched against Leeds. But if they did actually play both games, I'm perfectly fine holding them. I was thinking against either of these two teams they could haul, but I just would like the security of 2 starts. Moving on to our midfield department, we got Captain Mo Salah, no brainer here, had his rest against Newcastle like Trent, so should start both games, and Mo Salah in a double game week is always magic. Now that Spurs and Villa game might be quite cagey, but I do think both sides will try to counter, and therefore I think Liverpool could catch them on the break and hopefully do some damage. Our Spurs double up definitely does not have great fixtures. They've got Liverpool away and Arsenal at home. That North London derby could go either way, but the Liverpool game probably will be quite one-way traffic, but Son always does like countering against the Liverpool side. Saka same fixtures as Ramsdale, Leeds at home and Spurs away. I do favour these fixtures from an attacking point of view to a defensive side of things, and if Saka's not injured and features against both of them, I think he can get us some points. Finally, Rafinha with also 2 bad fixtures, Arsenal away and Chelsea at home. But the thing about Leeds is they have to win or at least get some results because they have been pulled back into the relegation battle. Rafinha is usually the main attacking outlet for them, and therefore if they do commit to the attack, I do hope that the Brazilian can get us some returns. And the sole man leading our attack is going to be Nketiah, the youngster from Arsenal. Leeds at home and Spurs away. I just hope that he starts both games, but apparently he might be benched against Spurs for tactical reasons, as Arteta might favour the creativity of Lacazette. But that's fine, as long as he scores against Leeds, that price is cheap enough for 1 return. I just hope that he can get in double game week 36. So overall, the fixtures aren't spectacular, but I don't think it justifies using a free hit, and with 1 free transfer and 1.2 in the bank, let's see what we can kind of change. So the first transfer that I could do, and I almost want to say a no-brainer, is unfortunately one of the Chelsea assets out, and that's going to be Reece James. I just can't see Reece James starting Wolves and Leeds away before the FA Cup final 3 days later, and therefore James could be a nice upgrade or a downgrade. In terms of the downgrade, the main option there is going to be Laporte or Diaz from Man City. I mentioned continuously throughout the videos this week that I think Newcastle at home and Wolves away are plumb fixtures offensively, and that's why Laporte and Diaz could rack up some clean sheets. Both these 2 centre-backs do offer some attacking threat, and I do think with John Stones out injured currently, they should start both games. But if I want to do an upgrade, the easy upgrade is going to be Robertson with that 1.2 in the bank, has Spurs and Villa. But as I mentioned yesterday, I do slightly worry if he does start against Villarreal with that rotation. But if he does get benched against Villarreal, 100% I think he's the best option to bring in. Kind of a no-brainer there, even for a -4. The Scotsman's playing terrific football, and Liverpool's defense looks quite solid. So this would be a kind of a no-brainer transfer, as I said, with that 1 free, but there are some other alternatives that I could look at. Now another transfer that could be a little bit more maverick and would be kind of based on captaincy might be taking out the South Korean Heung-min Son. Now no guys, don't worry, I know that he's in great form, got us tons of points, but I could upgrade him with that 1.2 to Kevin De Bruyne from Man City. And this is where that kind of captaincy comes into account, because I don't think if I'm going to captain Kevin De Bruyne, I don't think I should bring him in, and I think that value might be spent elsewhere a little bit better, but if I do want to captain the Belgium, I could go for this move with that upgrade. The only thing I'm thinking about now though is that if I do want Heung-min Son in game week 38 against Norwich away, that could be something that I take into account, and therefore this move might be a little bit too maverick for me. But as I said, if I want to captain KDB, this could be something that I go for, but I might wait for after those Champions League games to just see how many minutes he does play in Madrid. Another transfer that might be a little more conservative but still is a significant upgrade in my opinion would be taking out Heung-min-son's teammate Kulusevski and bringing in someone like a James Maddison from Leicester. I personally don't really favour those fixtures for Spurs. Liverpool away and Arsenal at home, not great in my opinion, and with the form that Spurs have shown from an attacking point of view, yes they did win in game week 35, but before that, they didn't have a shot on target in about 2 or 3 games. James Maddison could be a perfect upgrade. But this move kind of hinges on James Maddison playing both games. I don't really think I'll take the punt if he still has that knock or that injury. Could always go for a Harvey Barnes, but this might be kind of a step too far without a free hit. But overall, in terms of the transfers, I do think I'll make one move at least with that 1.2 in the bank. I think an upgrade could be in case in the forward, the midfield, or the defensive department, but currently a Reece James downgrade or upgrade seems the most likely. Let me know what you guys think about the transfers in the comments down below. Should I go for a KDB captain? I captained Heung-min-son as a differential. He ended up scoring. Maybe the Belgian will do quite well. Or should I stay solid with Mo Salah and keep Heung-min-son? Also in the comments down below, let me know what moves you guys are making. Are you guys using the free hit? Are you not? How many hits are you taking? Always like to see what you guys are up to for the upcoming game week. But this is basically wrap the video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you're new and haven't subscribed yet. I'll be seeing you guys for a fresh video tomorrow, probably the ultimate guide to double game week 36. Or I'll see you in the deadline stream coming up on Saturday for that Saturday afternoon deadline. But I'm signing off. It's been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.